Yeah, look, we had a good Zandvoort, there's no doubt about that, but Monza is a completely different beast. Lots of long straights with big stops at the end of them. So I probably should take this opportunity to apologise to everybody else for the damage that Jack Crawford does this weekend. Hey guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Kicking Haas. Today we have the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. And, yeah, well, there's a lot of big stopping brake zones, and, well, we've seen Crawford doesn't always do so well with those, does he? Ask Esteban Ocon after the Belgian Grand Prix, of course. But let's have a look. There's a little bit to catch you up on now. If we go and have a look at the car, we've got our new, the R&D time anyway, wind tunnel and that being reset. So we've got our final upgrades in the works: suspension, rear wing, and underfloor. So they will be with us in a couple of races' time. As soon as they're designed, we'll try and rush through the manufacturing as much as possible. So yeah, that is in the works. The drivers, we do have development points. Sargeant has one. We will go and stick that into maybe smoothness for him. Oh, here we go, a 77 rated Logan Sargeant now. So yeah, that will happen there. Jack Crawford, we will go and put that into, he just needs to be a little bit quicker perhaps, doesn't he? So let's stick that into reactions for him. And Kalen Frederick still has nothing. And the staff, again, there is no point there to be added. So let's go and have a look at this race. Did I give you an update of the standings? We are fourth in the Constructors, where we are in all likelihood going to stay. Sargeant, though, is third. I don't think he's going to be able to move up from there. He's going to be fending off, in all likelihood, it's Carlos Sainz, isn't it? There's no one behind him that's immediately threatening, though obviously things can change quite quickly. So the race this weekend at Monza, it is going to be a nice dry weekend. Always a nice relaxing one for me, that one. It's Monza, it's a temple of speed. Red is sector 1, blue is sector 2, yellow is sector 3. Sections by speed, very fast, 2 traction zones, and that is about it. Now, that doesn't necessarily always suit our car. Top speed, high speed cornering is the main things you're looking for here. Time considerations, 29-second pit stop loss. That does get 12 seconds knocked off it if it happens under a safety car, which there is a 60% chance of. Expected strategy, Monza is a one-stop. Whether we do soft, medium, soft, it'll be one or the other there, won't it? And the compound performance, there's no corners. There's very little difference, room for the tyres to make a difference. So, yeah, that is what it is. Previous races, K-Mag second last year and Sargeant fourth. If we could repeat that result this weekend, though maybe Sargeant second, Crawford fourth, we'd be very happy. Though, given the track, I don't know that that's... I don't know, it would surprise me, of course, if that happened, because it doesn't necessarily suit our car. But anyway, let's have a look at our performance targets. Qualifying position, someone in the top 8. Let's hope so. It'd be very nice if we could. Fastest lap, I always am a little bit nervous about going for that. And qualifying, we need someone in the top 10 2 more times, and we need... No, that's the race, isn't it? Someone in the top 10 2 more times, and then someone in the top 10 in qualifying 3 more times to get our £2 million, which would be very, very nice. Or is it dollars? Might be dollars. Anyway, let's head off to Monza. So there we go, confirmation of the weather. I will see you for qualifying. Hopefully we nail these setups. Okay, welcome back. We are ready for qualifying. Let's check and see how free practice went. Now, remember that obviously Monza is a very fast track and it needs new engines, which we have got the old ones in the car. So 17th and 20th in FP1, FP2, and if we scroll down, you will notice Logan Sargeant has a penalty. He drove clean up the back of Mick Schumacher, so he'll be starting 3 places back from where he qualifies, but 17th and 20th. And then if we go to FP3, and we can see 17th and 20th again. So only a Williams that we're ahead of with Logan Sargeant, which isn't great, but like I say, we'll put the new engines in and it should be okay. There it is, the 3 places for Logan. And yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be absolutely fine in the first Q1 session here. We're going to put the newest engine parts we have in just because it is such a power dependent track. And yeah, if it's not, obviously we'll come back, but I think we will be fine with, you know, newer engines, more powerful engines in. All right, we are back. We are 10th with Sargeant, 14th with Crawford. We'll jump on board with Crawford, who is behind. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 1, which isn't great. Now, Albon is currently fastest. Now, we towed Albon around, unfortunately, with Sargeant in the first run. So we've got new sets of tyres on, and I'm hoping that we'll be a little bit close. I'm not convinced that Crawford is quite close enough to Sargeant in front to get the draft I'm hoping for here. But yeah, well, we've done green first sectors with both cars. Crawford is currently the man on the bubble. but again, another green sector. He is now outside looking in. Sargeant is still 10th, so Sargeant should be fine. Ideally, I would have liked him to give a little bit more of a tow to Crawford here, but let's see what we can do. It is Crawford to 12th, so we needed that. Sargeant is, I've lost Sargeant, where is he? 10th still. So it could have been better, could have been worse. Both cars through, though, onto Q2. Alright, well, we've got him much closer this time. I actually wanted Sargeant out in front, though, because he towed Crawford around in the first lap on used tyres. And as you can see, Crawford is currently 4th, Sargeant 9th. So we're on board with Crawford, that Sargeant in front. Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be like that. Crawford's in a purple first sector, and Sargeant has not done his personal best. I'm a little bit worried for Logan Sargeant here, you know. I mean, he's got the grid penalty as well. We really, really do need him to be the man that is in front here. So, green for the second sector. And, yeah, Crawford is a little bit close, isn't he? Ideally, to where you would want him to be. As we come around the last corner. Sargeant is currently out in 11th. It would be disastrous if he stays there. Crawford goes top. Sargeant 10th. So Jack Crawford tops the session. Definitely need to do the tow, don't we? And Sargeant is down there in 10th. So, yeah, well, Q3, here we come. Alright, welcome back. Well, this has just gone horribly, horribly wrong. Crawford was out in front on new tyres, first run, with Sargeant sort of towing him. Sorry, Crawford was behind, Sargeant was towing him on used tyres, and they just got a massive ton of traffic. And it kind of stuffed them both up. Actually, it stuffed up Crawford much worse than Sargeant. Sargeant is now out on his new tyres. You can see Crawford is a little bit too far ahead to get a tow. Crawford is going faster, as you would expect. Sargeant should be going faster on new tyres, but is not. And we're currently 8th and 10th. And Sargeant's actually gone slower again. And that's probably because he had a tow in the first run, isn't it? So this is, yeah, not gone to plan. Crawford will go faster. How much faster does he go? He stays 10th. Sargeant stays 8th, and that's a bit of a disaster. So there we go. Sargeant will drop his 3, so he will start 11th. Crawford 9th as a result of that. But let's see what we can do with strategy here. And I just realised I didn't have my camera on for that whole thing. Sorry about that. Alright, so do we do medium to soft? Possibly that is what we want to do. And possibly we want to come in a little bit sooner than that. So we'll do that with Logan. And then with Crawford, you probably want to do something similar. Or do we do soft to medium for him? Thinking that if we were to get a safety car, excuse me, we could go on to a hard tyre at some point. So yeah, we'll switch it up. We'll do the inverse of each other, and let's see what we can do here. Hopefully we get some double points finish. 11th and 9th, though, we do start. All right, welcome back. Yeah, just it is difficult to do the tow. The thing is trying to get them. You can't, like, you told them to leave the pit, but you can't necessarily tell them, you know, follow each, you know, to tow each other kind of thing. So yeah, I just didn't. I got it perfect in Q2, obviously, for Crawford to go and be fastest, but just couldn't quite get it right. And well, it's looking like a bit of a dream race for Crawford, and it's all going a little bit wrong for Sargeant, isn't it? As he drops positions, as Crawford goes up to 8th. There's a lot of soft tyres at the front, medium more at the back. So it's going to be a race of people going forward in the first part, it looks like. And then second part of the race, it'll sort of switch around. But we've got Crawford right up behind Verstappen. Verstappen is the most nervous man in Italy right now. But here we go. It's probably best just let him go, Max, if I'm honest. Don't fight this. They're both on soft tyres. And, well, there we go. We have overtaken Mr. Verstappen. And next up is Carlos Sainz. Jesus, Jack. And, yeah, well, 53 lap race. It goes by quick, does the Monza race, because it's long, but it's quick. So, as in the track is long, but it's quick. So the average speed is high, and therefore times are low. But yeah, well, we'll finish off this lap, see where we come out. But 7:11 right now, and if we head to the leader, what's the actual intervals? How are we looking for DRS? Verstappen has actually dropped off the back of Crawford. So Verstappen's having one of these weird races he has from time to time where he looks slow. If you're dropping off the back of Crawford, I'm going to suggest that you are indeed slow. So
DRS enabled.
Yeah, it might be a good one for us to try and peg some points back for Sargeant in the championship if he wasn't sitting in 11th right now. Oh, multiple cars have crashed. Virtual safety car. Now, who has crashed? We did lose Albon, which is why we've currently got 10th place for Sargeant. He was just in front of him and had a bit of a spin. Tsunoda's got a penalty, so I dare say that has happened behind us then.
Just take a look at the McLaren.
Now, you do have quite the big... oh, he's gone back fourth, and... well, that is just... is that Lando, I think, judging by the helmet. Tsunoda somehow got a penalty for that. I don't think we would want to stop yet, though, would we? It's a little bit too early to do that.
Spin.
Oh, Sargeant is locked up, and that is going to hurt him as everybody goes past. Not too bad. He was in that battle there anyway. Excuse me. So, it could have been worse. Hopefully, he can catch him back up, but, yeah. It's 9th and 10th now instead of Crawford 10th and Sargeant. I think he was in 7th when he went off. Alright, now we are just approaching Crawford's pit window, so we will maybe try and harvest him. You can see there's some cars coming in, quite a few cars coming in, so the soft tyre runners are officially in the pits here, so it makes us 5th and 6th now. We're harvesting with both cars. We're going to try when they... well, just generally speaking, Sargeant just needed a bit of a recharge while he was stuck behind, well, it was initially Giovinazzi, no, Zoe. Crawford, we just want to try and get him in a position that when he comes out of the pits, given that he's sort of stuck in the train here anyway, he can try and push on the new tyres, and hopefully, anyway, we will see him doing well, as this is Sargeant going past Crawford, which is absolutely fine, given that Crawford is currently harvesting, and hopefully he can just stay with him, and you'll be coming in at the end of the next lap. So we'll get an idea as Guanyu Zhou is coming into the pits as well. So pit window is open. We'll go on to a medium with Crawford, and yeah, we'll get an idea momentarily where that's going to bring him back out. Just don't run up the back of him, please, Jack. But 3rd and 4th, there is obviously a long way to go in the race yet. Sargeant needs to put in some good lap times. He does seem to have pace. If we look at last lap times, no, it's a little bit misleading because he would have had DRS at times and whatnot. So he is a little bit off the pace, half a second or so of the leaders. But I think he's actually been a little bit quicker than that, perhaps. But yeah, the race is going to start, and... what's the word I'm looking for? Going to start and evolve now. Evolve? What's the word I'm looking for here? Play out is probably what I'm trying to say. But let's see what sort of pit stop we get from Crawford's side of the garage. And see where he's going to come out, of course. 2.7, sorry, is not... That's about our average, isn't it? So he comes out behind Zoe, which is roughly where he was in terms of, you know, track position. But in 13th. So let's hold off on his deploy. Let's not use it just yet. Yeah, although he could probably do with perhaps being a little bit closer to the cars he's racing. But yeah, let's see. We've got Sargeant's pit stop coming up momentarily, and that'll be the next major thing, hopefully, unless a non-Haas driver wants to crash. Yeah, he is about half a second off the pace of the leaders, is Sargeant, so he's not at a race-winning pace today. Alright, now we are getting ready for Logan Sargeant's stop. He is in this lap, and he is having a deploy lap here on his final lap on this tyre, and hopefully we're going to look to make up a little bit of time, and then he should, I think, have enough to do a deploy lap, though I might try and save that coming out of the pits and see if we can nick fastest lap. We should be comfortably in the points. Yeah, Crawford, he was using his ERS to try and get to the back of Guanyu Zhou, and, well, he's got there. Now it's just a matter of whether he can overtake him or not. But let's go and have a look and see what the Sargeant pit stop looks like. It needs to be a good one. If we're looking at gaps back, we're going to come out around about Verstappen or so, I would imagine, which again is where we were when we came in. Lots of other cars coming in. So we're going to have a nice soft tyre as well. There goes Verstappen, so we're a little bit behind him. In fact, we're behind Crawford as well. And some distance behind Crawford by the looks of things. So that's not exactly where we want it to be. We'll try and harvest this lap and then go for fastest lap. But we're 9th and 10th right now. Does anybody owe us a stop here? Only Leclerc, the leader, who's way ahead of us anyway. So, well, we need a safety car here, don't we? Or else this is not going to be the glorious Haas race that we were perhaps hoping it might be. But Crawford's got himself up tonight, so that's a bonus. 8th, sorry. Why has Zoe got onto a hard? That's a very unracy strategy, isn't it? Alright, so here we go with Sargeant's attempt for fastest lap. We do have Albon right behind us, but hopefully that will be absolutely fine. Crawford is still battling away here with Guan Yu Zhou. We have been harvesting him as well. The plan here is to try and fully charge the battery, get an overtake, and then just sort of the ERS, off into the distance is the hope anyway. But Sargeant's only done a green first sector, which is not ideal. Would have liked him to be doing purple, if I'm honest. Only a green second sector as well. We just don't have the pace. We know that top speed isn't necessarily our thing. I was hoping soft tyres and a deploy lap would be enough here, but yeah, it doesn't look like it has been. Oh no, it is. He's just nicked it at the end. Well done, Logan. That is very nice.
We want to leave.
We're just needing to stay in the points now, don't we? And he does have Albon right behind him still.
Energy's good.
Yep, copy.
Alright, and now it is the time of Jack Crawford to try and get this move done on Guan Yu Zhou and then use his, he's got a fully charged battery, use these ERS laps to drive off into the distance. So let's hope that he can do that for us as well. It's going to be tough. It always is tough to break a little bit free of cars behind with the sort of non-stop DRS here, but Zhou does have a hard tyre, so I'm hopeful that's going to give us the advantage. We've got 4 odd seconds to get to Verstappen in front. That will be very tough to do. We can just see him ahead there in the chicane. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what he can do. He's got a couple of laps here. What we don't need is him taking fastest lap. He's on older medium tyres though, so I don't think it's going to be possible for him to do it, but yeah, I mean, you never know, I suppose. Doesn't look as though we're going to be able to get our way clear of Guan Yu Zhou though, so that's disappointing. He might be on his battery as well, so perhaps, you know, he drains that, we drain ours, and then we have the better tyres. We are taking time out of Verstappen, but we're almost out of our battery power. There it is there, so it's not sustainable, but we are catching him at about half a second a lap, but that's going to obviously drop away now as well. So it's looking as though our race is going to be 8th if we're lucky with Crawford and 10th if we're lucky with Sargeant. See, there's a little bit of a train there. He's DRSing around. But look at this battle for the lead. There is 6 cars, nose to tail, and there is 2 Alpines, 2 Ferraris, Magnussen in the Alpha, and then Leclerc in the Red Bull. So any of those guys could win it. It's a stunning race. It's just a shame it doesn't involve any Haas's or Haasai. Alright, we have 4 laps to go. Now, we still have Crawford right behind the back of Zhou. He's harvesting right now. What we do have is Sargeant 3.5 or so seconds back. What we're going to try and do here, here's my plan, is we're going to try and deploy and get Sargeant to the back of Zhou and Crawford. The ultimate goal here is for us to finish 8th and 9th. That's what we're trying to achieve. I don't know if it's going to be possible. 3 seconds is a lot to catch up. We're not that far away from the back of Verstappen, but I don't think we're going to be able to do that. The other option I have is obviously to push Crawford, try and go past, and then get to Verstappen. I don't think that's possible. So we're going to try this with Sargeant, and if it doesn't work, we need to have taken a little bit more of a chunk out, I think, there than that. We're 0.8 of a second faster. We're definitely closer, aren't we? I think the problem is that we're going to run out of deploy before we get there. And then at that point, I think what we might need to do is, if it's not going to happen, which potentially we might need to acknowledge here it's not, so we will stop that and we will go the other way, and we will now try and get Crawford past Guan Yu Zhou and see if he can get himself onto the back of Max Verstappen, which you can see Max is right there. He's not particularly quick. So there's got to be a decent chance of him being able to do that. And he can deploy to the end now, can Crawford. So he's got past So, let's see if he can go and make up 2 seconds on the great Max Verstappen here.
Is that a new race
Sargeant
position for
is...
Haas?
Yeah, I mean, he's still got to worry about the cars all over the back of him behind. So, he's just got to try and get himself points. Unfortunately, Leclerc nicked our fastest lap. So, that's gone. But... we're not quick. We're just not quick enough today, are we? That's what it ultimately comes down to. But if we could get Crawford to the back of Verstappen here, this would be something. He's not a mile. I think the problem is that I couldn't have deployed him any sooner because 2 laps is what you can do. He wouldn't have been able to deploy all the way to the end anyway. Now we could have maybe done it, say, half a lap sooner, so that he would, if he was potentially in DRS zone for there. So maybe I'll take that on the chin. I should have gone a little bit sooner with him. Oh no, and Sargeant has lost out to Albon. And, well, he needs to go and get that back, doesn't he? Hopefully, down this straight here, he'll be able to do it. Because he'll have DRS. Albon won't. The battery's empty, but I think the battery's done its job. And it is going to get him back past. So that should be that. His battery is empty. Him being Crawford, he's not quite managed to get to the back of Verstappen. He's in DRS zone now, so maybe we should have gone a lap sooner. But the race has been won by Sainz ahead of Leclerc, Perez, Gasly, Magnussen, Ocon, Verstappen. Crawford comes home 8th, and Sargeant takes a point in 10th. So, you know what? It wasn't our race. It wasn't our car particularly well suited to it. I think we just about take that, don't we? Everybody moved up a spot, and Albon was the big loser there. So we take a few points into the Constructors. Logan Sargeant drops back behind Sainz by a considerable margin now as well. He's lost out big on that one, hasn't he? Crawford, though, is still there in 12th. And in the Constructors, we lost out to those around us, but we're still in a fairly solid 4th place, which is absolutely fine. But guys, that will do it for today. If you've enjoyed that, thumbs up, subscribe if you're new. I believe the next race is Singapore, so we'll manufacture a few extra front wings just in case. And yeah, well, we got a 1-2 there last year, didn't we? Could we do something similar this year? That would be a surprise, but I think I'd take double points again. Take care.